Hetepu, Assalamu alaikum, Namaste, Harun Nefer. This is Kasanth Ma Keparu with another video for you. And in today's video, we're going to go over how to perform a trance meditation session. But before I do that, I want you to hit the like button on this video. And if this is your first time to my channel, welcome. Hit the subscribe button to get notifications on when I go live or upload recorded videos. Also, if you haven't already, you can become a Patreon supporter for as little as $1 or $20 per month. You can cancel at any time, and you get exclusive access to instructional videos on how to perform a ritual, how to create a magical amulet, how to invoke spirits, how to communicate with the ancestors, and how to do oracle readings. And we have a new level there, which is the $20 level, where you can actually participate in live hypnosis sessions to reprogram your spirit, and also get Q&A sessions and oracle readings done with me if you become a member at that $20 level. So consider becoming a Patreon supporter. And lastly, remember, you can download some free ebooks. Just click the link below, and you can start reading today more about my teachings and the esoteric, the spiritual, some really good ebooks there. So one of my latest ebooks is the new Kepada Ankh, which actually goes over how to change your current reality to something that's more conducive to your liking. So let us get into today's discussion about trance meditation. It is important for you to understand that this idea of trance is a very ancient technique that was used by our ancestors for various different purposes. We discovered very early on that there is a division to your spirit. There is the self and there is the person. The person is the persona, the collection of experiences that you have culminate into a person. But the self is the true essence of who you are, which is consciousness. Now, whether you realize it or not, you have a aspect to you, which is the person, which can be programmed, and you are being programmed every day. Now, in Scientology, they have a specific technique on programming and specific terms that they've taken out of the Hindu culture. That's where Scientology comes from, Hinduism. And they call these engrams, and these are basically how should I say it? They're emotional patterns or programs that your spirit has taken in, and then you react based upon that programming, those engrams. And the way that you are programmed is multifaceted. You know, when a traumatic experience happens to you, such as being in a car crash, your spirit instantly becomes open, and you receive the event. And since the event appeals to the spirit on an emotional level, it then becomes programmed into the subconscious mind. And what takes place after that is it gets recalled through a trigger mechanism. It could be hearing the honking of a car, the color of the lights, the red, the green. Those things will trigger the emotion, which will take you back in time to that event. And this is how we are traumatized, or we experience trauma. And it's very difficult once we have been programmed through that means to get rid of that programming, because it becomes deeply embedded into the subconscious mind. And the same holds true for childhood experiences. When children are beaten or chastised at an early age in a way that's emotionally striking, it becomes embedded into their psyche, their subconscious mind. And as they grow older, they become less receptive, because children at the early age are very receptive to programming. But as you become older, you become less receptive, still receptive. So this is why you notice that children are like sponges. Whenever you say, whatever they see, they pick up and they can emulate that. So Such is the case with our subconscious mind. The deity that governs in the Kemetic culture trance state is Auset or Isis. And she is known as the Great Mother, the Virgin Mother or Virgin Mary. And whenever you hear Auset and we speak of her, we correspond her with different principles, such as the water principle. Water is a symbol of the subconscious realm, or Nu, N-U, or N-U-N, Nun, the primordial waters of Nun, which is a symbolism of the subconscious realm, the subconscious mind. And this is why Auset is on the lower trigram of the tree of life. You have Heteru, you have Sebek, and below that you have Auset. Because when you're climbing the Kemetic tree of life, you have to first start out with Geb and then go to Auset. And because Auset is on the lower portion, it deals specifically with those involuntary reactions that we have, which are programmed into the subconscious mind. Our goal using trance meditation is to overcome the programming that we have accumulated through day-to-day life. You see, back in antiquity with our ancestors, the culture was set up as such that everything had a meaning to it, and everything was there to make an impression upon the subconscious mind for a positive benefit. But here we live in a Sahu society, a society that's bent on consumerism, society that's bent on instilling fear within the population, to manipulate the population. So those things that you see around you are meant to make you fearful, to make you stressed out, to make you act on an emotional level without thinking, because they, in order to control and manipulate the population, they first have to get you to act on impulse. And that's very important. So they set up these things to program you, and then they put triggers to activate those programs. And so you, as the saying goes, you get triggered. And you have emotional reactions such as feelings of stress, feelings of depression, and you don't know why you feel that way. This is because you are programmed. This is why it's important that you learn trance, learn meditation, same thing. Because you will be able to program yourself for your own benefit and to purge your spirit, purge your subconscious mind of the negative junk that's in there. And in the great Chinese I-ching oracle, this is symbolized by the 50th hexagram, which is called the cauldron. And the cauldron, it says, before you can embark on your spiritual journey, you have to turn the cauldron upside down and get rid of all the junk that's in there. So that means that you now have stuff trapped within your psyche that you have been programmed with. And in order to embark on your spiritual journey, you have to purge yourself. You have to get rid of all of that stuff that's in there. And most of what is in there is false beliefs. Sebek. Sebek is belief systems. So we have to get rid of the belief systems of Western culture, which is damning us to hell. Because we have ideas such as, I'm an individual. I can do whatever I want. I'm human. I am a sinner. Christ told me I am a sinner and I must repent. All of those things need to be purged out because you are a divine being. You're a God man, God woman. And in order to exercise your power, to ascend to the throne, which is rightfully yours, you must learn to use the power that resides within you. You must learn to resurrect Auset, the indwelling intelligence that is within you. But you cannot do that if you're still harboring all of those old belief systems from Western society. And they have been constructed purposely to oppress you and to make you a slave. One of the instruments that they were used, and I talk about this often, is to get you to think primarily out of the left hemisphere of the brain. Because when you are polarized in the left hemisphere of the brain, you only think linearly. You only think individually. You don't think about the collective welfare of people. You don't connect to the universe and source. Our ancestors discovered early on, and it was the priestesses who were the first to discover this, the women, because the women are the principle of the subconscious mind, discovered that you can program your spirit, program the subconscious mind to be whatever you want to be, because your perception creates reality. And your perception is based on what you filter or allow to pass through the filter. In other words, we all can look at something but not see the same thing, because the belief systems that we harbor will filter out certain things that are in alignment with our preconceived notions. What does that mean exactly? That means that we all experience a different perspective or a different reality, even though we're looking at the same thing. This is why there is no objective reality. There is no absolute reality. It doesn't exist, because we're all living in a hypnotic tunnel, a reality tunnel. And that's constantly ever changing, because your belief systems change. And when your belief systems change, the information that you allow to pass through the filter will change. And that information is just information that gets empowered by emotion. And when it's empowered by emotion, it becomes a belief system, a strong belief system. So let us run through the progression here. We understand that we don't all see the same reality, that reality is based on information. Call it the matrix, call it zeros and ones, call it the energetic field, the electromagnetic field, whatever you want to call it. When we're looking at that, information is being communicated to us. But we are only accepting the information that aligns with our preconceived notions and belief systems. And when we do that, we empower that information with an emotional reaction. And when we empower it with emotional reaction, we then understand that the universe communicates based on what? Frequency, vibration. What is frequency and vibration? The emotion is translated into a frequency and a vibration. So emotions are the language of the universe. The emotions command the universe. So when you have a strong belief system, information, powered with an emotion, you are now communicating or commanding the universe to collapse the space-time continuum to create one of an infinite number of realities. You are creating and building your reality. This is why when I work with individuals in hypnotic sessions, hypnosis sections, one of the things I must understand about them is, what are your preconceived notions? What is your core belief system? Because depending on what their core beliefs are, is how I will tailor the program to them. Because if their beliefs are in line with truth, it is said in the Kemetic religion, Sebek will open the way to your success. But if your beliefs are not in alignment with truth, then the doors will be closed to you. This is why those individuals who go to a hypnotherapist or go for a hypnosis session and it's not successful is because the affirmations or the truisms that the hypnotist has given them Clash or conflict, the sixth hexagram of the I-ching oracle, conflicts with their belief system, and nothing happens. There is no growth. So there has to be a consultation session first for me to understand what are your core beliefs. And most often they're erroneous. They're incorrect belief systems that we have to ferret out first before I can put in place the new programming. And when individuals sign up, for example, a trance mastery hypnosis session, one of the things I endeavor to do is to implant a belief system to where they come to the realization of their power and that they're God and they can create any reality that they want. That is the goal. That is the goal. Because right now, what's hard coded in you, in the hard drive, is that you're human. There is an objective reality that exists outside of you, and you cannot control it or do anything about it. You're at its whim. And that is wrong. That is wrong belief system. That's not based on truth. That is not Ma'at. Because Ma'at is relational thinking. See, when you understand Ma'at and relational thinking, you understand that God, Neter, needs you. God, Neter, is connected to you and cannot exist without you. Why does Neter need you? Because Neter wants to experience the 3D realm. And the way it does that, because Neter is infinite, it's oneness. But Neter has to create the illusion of individuality to have something to interact with and therefore gain experience. So Neter creates you, creates John, creates Mary, and therefore it now can interact with itself. Listen to what I'm saying. It now can interact with itself. Neter can interact with itself and gain experience. You must understand the power that resides within you. See, you have downloaded an incorrect program. The program that tells you that you are your thoughts and feelings, that you are the individual, you are the person that is seeing and hearing and feeling. That you are solid. And that is not true. And that program must be purged. Because what that program is doing is it's suppressing your power. It has disabled the power mechanism that's within you, which is Auset. And it is preventing Auset from resurrecting the God power within you. Or let us get specific. What is your power? Your power is Sekert. What is Sekert? Sekert is Ptah, the creator. Sekert is the grand priestess, the witch. She commands these 72 words of power. Ptah is the great craftsman, the mason. They're one and the same. And Akim, Tepu, you're right. We are Osiris. That's who we are. That's right. And we must come to the realization that we are Osiris. We believe that we're human. We believe that we're limited. We believe we're sinful. No, we are Ser. We are Sekert's power within us. Sekert is so powerful that none would oppose her. Let me say that again. Sekert is so powerful that no one would oppose her. She is the grand witch, the mistress of the mystical world. That power resides within you. But to get to that power, you must get rid of the old notions brought to you by the new world, which is hell bent on enslaving you, to programming your psyche, your subconscious mind, so that you become a willing participant in your own slavery. You see, contrary to what the New Age movement is trying to tell us, or the conspiracy theorists trying to tell us, there will be no military coup d'etat. There will be no military takeover. There will be no enactment of military law, because the goal, the sinister goal of the ruling elite, is to condition you through generations to accept enslavement, to where you'll fight to the death to be a slave. And they're using it through sebek, false belief systems, erroneous names and definitions. Why go through the trouble of building a military might when you're outnumbered? The ruling elite is outnumbered, and they know that. Even with the advanced technology that they have and the advanced weaponry and that they develop through black ops projects and through deconstructing alien technology, they still outnumbered. So what is the best course of action for them is to condition the people on the planet through mind control to accept their own enslavement and become a willing participant, so that you will have no rebellion, that you will have no uprising. Do you understand what I'm saying? We're talking about crafting the human population through generations to accept the notion that having a government is good. Having a police force is good. Having a court system is good. Having a media controlled by one or two major corporations is good. Having freedom of speech is good. You see, at the core of it, they take a truth and they put a spin on it, just enough to enslave your mind. If I say to you, you're an individual, you should have the right to do what you want. That sounds good in theory. But then when you get into understanding high magic and the occult and the wisdom of our ancestors, you know that thoughts are transferable, that you are a receiver picking up on thought vibrations and combining that information with an emotion to create reality. So then, is it right for you to be able to do whatever you want to do? No, it's not. Because what you do has a psychic connection to others and will influence others far and wide. I'm doing drugs. That's not hurting anybody. No, it is. And we know through the 100 monkey principle that whatever I do resonates within the ether, and others pick up on it and they will mimic that behavior. Deep. So technically, no, it's not good to say that you're an individual and have the right to do whatever you want to do. No, as Mr. Spock said in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the one. meaning you have to take a ma'at view of things. You have to look at the collective and say, what is best for the collective? That will determine how your individual behavior is sanctioned. So in short, no, you don't have the right to individually do whatever the hell you feel like you want to do. No. You see, when you have a goldfish in a tank, right? And the goldfish is swimming around, la la la, I think I'm going to take a shit here. Is that okay? Well, it's just water. Well, what you're doing is you're polluting the water, and other fish will be taking in that feces. So no, it's not okay. That's a bad example, but I'm just throwing it at you so you understand. We are all connected, whether you want to realize it or not. Hey, i-ching, okay, I brother, you got to stop. You got to stop. You are cluttering the chat box there. So just slow down now, okay? I know you're excited. Slow down. All right. So one of the books that you'll need to get that will help you in meditation to reprogram your subconscious mind to accept a new belief system is the Tree of Life meditation system. Okay, this is by Ra'u Nefer Amen. And what this does is it takes you up the tree, down the tree, and for each sphere on the tree, there's a deity. And for each deity, there's an affirmation or a truism that you are working to accept to reprogram your spirit. And these truisms, which we call them, are based on universal principles in terms of how the universe operates. They're not man-made laws. Okay, so you understand that there's a big difference. And let me go through just some of these so you can understand them and get an idea of how they work. So your goal is to meditate on each different deity as you climb up and down the tree, also known as the Port Netalu. The first, let's start at the top. We start at the top, and the highest aspiration is Auset. And the first truism that we get to is it says, you say alien brain? Is that what it is? Hetepu, how you doing? Have you read Muta Ashby? Hetep, brother. Yeah, Muta Ashby and I have talked many times. I know the brother. He's nice. He's a really nice brother. Okay. Law of Auset. You look like God when you respond in the understanding that no one or nothing can ever be against you because you are one with all. So if there's only one, you cannot oppose yourself. So Auset is a great uniter. He's one with all. And then we come to the Mistress of Power, Sekert, or Ptah. You look like God when you take the time to learn and live according to the destiny that God has provided you in peace and joy, because Sekert deals with destiny, cycles. Then we go to the law of Ma'at. You look like God when you're dealing with God, others, and the environment adhere to the reciprocal relationship between all things. Reciprocity is Ma'at. And balance. And who is across from Ma'at on the tree of life? You have Haruko Huti, and we can also say Sekhmet. You look like God when instead of seeking vengeance, you allow the law of sowing what has been reaped to automatically restore the balance that has been disturbed. Good one. The law of Haru. You look like God when you choose out of a conviction that is based on understanding to live according to the laws of God instead of your own opinions and feelings. See, Haru is the will. You have the freedom, the free will to ignore God if you so choose. God doesn't force you to follow him. God doesn't say, if you don't do what I tell you to do, I'm going to rain fire, brimstone, or whatever down at you. I'm going to cause your family to come down with the plague. God doesn't do that. God says, listen, there's karma. You reap what you sow. The law of Heteru, or Hathor. You look like God when you see your imagination as a tool to transcend your lower nature and for the attainment of success as a divine being in the world instead of relying primarily on material resources and using your imagination as a tool for sensual gratification. Heteru is joy. And what does Haru tell us? Joy is in the journey and not the destination. Don't hold off your joy to reach the destination. Don't say, whenever I become a millionaire, I'll be happy. When I get that beautiful guy that looks like Kisank, I'll be happy. Whatever. But okay, I digress. The law of Sebek. You look like God when you use your verbal expression to affirm your divine attributes and to glorify good as the source of your success in life. Because Sebek is beliefs. The law of Auset. You look like God when you cultivate a devotion to realize your divinity by all necessary righteous means and at any cost, your life included. And I must say this, which I missed the opportunity to really emphasize this. Auset, Isis, stands for devotion, because she was devoted to finding her husband Osiris and resurrecting him. So when you take something into trance and you meditate upon it, it becomes instilled within you and you become devoted to that thing. It becomes a strong passion for you. I could not like green tea. Let's say, for example, I may not like green tea, but if I take a client and I put them under hypnosis and I say to them, green tea tastes like cherry soda to you, when they come out of trance, they're going to love green tea. They're going to love it. It's going to taste like cherry soda to them, because the subconscious mind doesn't differentiate. It's not the critical faculty. It accepts everything freely and it acts upon that. The law of Geb. You look like Geb when you conduct your life on earth as a means of developing your divinity through the mastery of earthly circumstances. Geb is Gaia, or the physical body, the physical manifestation of things. So we have gone over the power of trance, which is Auset. That whatever you take into trance, as a conscious mind believes it's true and acts upon it through devotion. Our societies knew the importance of trance, and we had daily ceremonies where the entire population would engage in, call it rituals. One of the most important of the rituals was the full moon ritual, because the full moon had a pull on the tides of the earth. It has an influence on the water, and your body is what? More than 75% water. So the moon has a direct influence on the subconscious mind. Henceforth, we get the story of the werewolf. The werewolf, the guy turns into a werewolf during the full moon. So when we have a full moon, what's trapped in your subconscious mind comes to the surface. Whatever is programmed into your psyche comes to the surface. This is why people act out in certain ways during a full moon. All right. So if everyone could take the time to hit the like button, let's get the likes up on the video. All right. So I want to talk a little bit about trance state. So these techniques can help you in your daily life. Now, I talked about how no matter what you do, you're being programmed, okay? And you're not a willing participant. It just happens to you, You have an argument with somebody. It gets really emotional. And there's a programming there that happens. And that programming will resurface if there is a trigger that really recalls that engram or that situation. You actually regress in time to the original situation, and your mind believes it's there. This is why rape victims, people who've been traumatized, they could be sitting down in a safe space, but because they are recalling the traumatic event, have a physical reaction to it. They panic, they sweat, they become nervous. And this is why the therapist has to calm them down. Okay, let's go on. One of the things that we have to do in order to protect ourselves is to be mindful of the thoughts that we have, because when we start to repeat certain thoughts or to replay certain scenarios in our head, they will create what we call as a pattern, or in Kemetic culture, we call a conditioning. And the replaying of that is cemented into the subconscious mind. Let's say, for example, I argue with my mate and I'm really upset about it. And the next day she's not around, but I'm replaying that in my mind and I'm seeing the argument there. That replaying of it, that dwelling upon it, creates the engram, creates the pattern, creates the conditioning. And whether I realize it or not, or like it or not, the next time, for example, I may meet my mother and have a discussion with her, and she'll say something and that will trigger me and I'll get upset. So when we find ourselves in those situations where we're getting triggered, we're getting upset, we're getting angry, or even when we're replaying something, we know we should not be replaying that scenario, we have to do a technique called breaking state. What does that mean? That means that when we find ourselves in replaying the scenario, we have to stop and quickly think about something else. We have to flip the script. Now, easier said than done, because you're in the heat of the moment. You're replaying it. You're getting upset. You're trying to make the other person in your mind see your point of view in this argument. But the thing is, you have to stop and break state. One of the ways that this can be done, and the Buddhists use a technique similar to this, is create a problem to solve. Let's say, for example, there's something that you've been working on, say your car's engine, and you can't figure out how to fix it, That's a great thing for you to have in your back pocket. So when I'm thinking and playing a scenario in my mind of me arguing with my mate, I stop, I break state, and I think about solving that problem with that engine. And I focus on that. Now, that has to be a very important problem that you're working on, or else this technique doesn't work. You can't just think of something arbitrarily that doesn't have an emotional appeal to you. So when you find yourself replaying over a negative experience, stop, break state, and think about another problem that you're trying to solve. Now, what's going to happen is you may think about the problem you're going to solve, and it may indulge you for a couple of minutes, and you go back to the heated argument with your mate, your mother, your boss, or whoever. That's okay. It's the repetition that's going to make it work. Whenever that scenario comes up and you're replaying it in your mind, break state, think about solving the problem. If you go back to that scenario, break state again, and keep doing it. And that will create a conditioning where you're anchoring the fixing of the engine problem to the argument with your mate. So that when the trigger comes up and you start to think about the argument with your mate, automatically your subconscious mind will switch to solving the problem with the car engine. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because you now anchored the car engine in with the fight with your mate. That's how it's done. Okay. That's one way to do it. Now, another thing that you're going to want to do is, and this is very helpful, is if you have a situation that you say you arguing with your boss, you go home and you're still upset, you're really angry about it, is that you need to create, and this is a good solve for it, a new history. You revise history. How did the scenario go with your boss? You asked for a raise, your boss said no, your boss got upset, saying, well, I'm on the verge of letting you go or downsizing you, and I really upset you, right? So what do? You replay it in your mind, but in your mind you say, I asked my boss for a raise, and he said, yeah, you've been doing a great job. Let's revisit this talk in about a couple of weeks. That is the scenario that you want to replay over and over again, not the one where your boss got upset. You're revising history. Now understand that the only thing that exists is the now moment. Okay? The past and the future do not exist. They're only perspectives. And that however you feel and however you act in the now moment changes your history, changes your past, and changes your future. So that when you are now reviewing the things in your life that have happened, that have not happened or transpired in the way that you wanted them to, if you revise it to be a successful outcome, a positive outcome, and you replay that positive outcome over and over again, you will shift to a parallel reality where that becomes real. Now, what's going to happen? You'll start to see the attitudes of the people around you become real. They'll change. They'll become more favorable toward what you wanted. But you have to replay this over and over again and believe that this is how it went down. Not that your boss got upset at you, your boss was very happy with your work and your productivity, and he said, let's visit this in a couple of weeks. If you replay that over and over again, especially in trance state, you will vibrationally shift to that reality. Do you understand? That's what you want. Now, the other thing you can do is future project. You can do the same thing. Instead of seeing, when you ask your boss for a raise, you can then say, and one of the things I understand is that everyone's an avatar. No one's real. That I am the one that's creating them. So you can future project and see a future where things will unfold according to the way you want them to, and then dwell upon that visualization. Now, the key is the repetition of this puts you into the trance state, because without the trance state, none of this is going to work. And what do I mean by the trance state? Right now, you're in the waking state. That means the left brain is active. And you can't do anything while the left brain is active. The way to disable the left brain is to meditate. Now, of course, when you're in your day-to-day life, you can't just stop and meditate. The way that you can access the right brain, which is the meditative state, is through repetition. Because when you are replaying something over and over and over again, it puts the left brain to sleep and it activates the right trance state, the right brain trance state. And when that's activated, you now go from linear space-time to nonlinear space-time, to where you can now influence things. Because all things are one, all things are connected. That is the power of trance. This is why when I'm working with people on trance mastery hypnosis, and I put them into a state of deep, deep trance, I can go to any point in their lives and reconstruct things, and they come out being very happy, very at peace. You understand what I'm saying? So there's two divisions. There's the left brain, which is linear space-time, and also individuality, which is where we exist in this 3D realm, or duality. Then there's the right brain, which is devoid of space-time, and there is no duality. There is just oneness. And we understand through quantum entanglement, meaning there's a connection between all things, you can then influence other individuals near and far. This is the basis of healing. This is the basis of telepathy, or I call it telecommunication. So this is where you get all these so-called miraculous things you read in the Bible happening. Because those biblical characters were accessing trance state. They were tapping into something very powerful. Now, a key to putting the mind to sleep, or the left brain to sleep, to access trance state, is you can use a mantra. And repeating the mantra and over again lulls the left brain to sleep so that you can access that right brain. So I hope that makes sense. Okay. Now, some of the other things that you can do with Trance State, and they're absolutely wonderful, is astral projection. Projecting your consciousness to different realms and meeting different interdimensional beings. And this is one aspect that I love so much, because when you start to dive into this area, what you'll discover is that there are other realms out there and other beings out there that are ready to come and assist you in your life. And what you'll notice is if you're able to successfully do it, because you are projecting your true essence of who you are, you will find that there are no limitations. And that when you meet these beings will communicate with your true self, meaning the beings don't see you as black, white, male, female, Republican, or Democrat. These beings see your true self. And you're able to have a very authentic and real experience. You notice that I'm hearing this weird sound over here. It's kind of tripping me out. Like, why is this sound over? This always happens when I do a transmission, you know? All right. So I want to give you 2 affirmations that are going to help you. Now, let us do a quick meditation session so that you can just get an idea of the power behind this. All right. I'm going to give you 2 affirmations that will help you in your life and that are very powerful. The first affirmation goes as such: I am not the type of person who experiences such things. You will say this to yourself in trance state. I am not the type of person who experiences such things. This is making it clear to you that you do not accept the current reality and that there's a division between who you truly are and what you are experiencing. The next thing is, I can and will manifest any reality I choose. I can and will manifest any reality I choose. You follow me? First affirmation: I am not the type of person who experiences such things. Second, I can and will manifest any reality I choose. Okay? Now, we're going to do the meditation. Okay? I am going to play some music for you. This music is very powerful. It's healing music. It is at 432 hertz, so that is going to be very therapeutic for you to help you purge out old conditionings. One of the things I really prescribe is that you get a crystal, a quartz crystal, and you hold it in your right hand when you're doing the meditation, because when you're doing the meditation, you'll be charging the crystal, okay? And spiritual elevation, thank you for asking. I'm feeling a little bit better today. Thank you. So when you're in meditation, you'll be charging your crystal so that when you're on the go and you don't have time to meditate, just pull out your crystal and carry it with you. And the energy, because the crystal is charged, will resonate and it will help you. The other thing you want to do is, prior to your meditation, is to use an oil, you know, and that there are different magical oils that you can use, and you put some on your nostrils there. And that will help to take you into an alternate state of consciousness. Okay? Crystal in the right hand. We sit up straight, our back direct. And we close our eyes. And we breathe in through the mouth, out through the nose. Breathe in through the mouth. I'm sorry. Let me go back and say it again. I was distracted. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Sorry. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Okay? Now, there are a million different breathing techniques, right? This is the one I want you to work with. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. And when you breathe in through your nose, I want you to extend your belly. And when you breathe out, I want you to contract your belly. Okay? You will notice that when you start to bring more oxygen to your brain, you get clarity of mind, and you will start to see things very differently in life. And if you practice the breathing on your own daily, you'll find you'll become less agitated. You'll have less knee-jerk reactions to things. Because one of the things society's done is to interrupt our breathing patterns and have us do shallow breathing, where we're breathing through our with our, taking oxygen in our chest. We're raising our chest and we're lowering our chest. That's very bad breathing, very dangerous breathing, but it happens. And a lot of people, that's how they have the panic attacks, because they're not breathing properly. Or when you become very excited and upset, you'll hold your breath and you don't even realize you're doing it. And that's very bad as well. You want to breathe rhythmically. Keep it at a certain rhythm and keep it going. The disruption of the breathing pattern activates the animal spirit within you. This is why Set and Haru fought, and that one of the primary things that helped Haru was the proper breathing, so that he can come in contact with the Akashic records, with Tahuti. Okay. Let us sit quietly. Follow my instructions. Follow my voice. If you have any questions, put it in the chat room. But other than that, follow along. I want you to relax. Slowly close your eyes. Listen to the sound of the music, the birds, the wildlife. Relax yourself. Clear your mind of thoughts. Keep your eyes closed. Now I want you to focus your attention on your face. All the muscles in your face. I want you to relax them. Feel as if all tension is going away while relaxing the muscles of your face. Relax. Feeling good. Feeling stress-free. Now focus your attention on your neck and your shoulders. Releasing all tension in your neck and your shoulders. Relax. Still breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Rhythmic breathing. Focus your attention on your chest. Relaxing your chest. Moving down to your stomach. Relaxing the stomach muscles. Still breathing. Feeling good. Feeling great. Moving down to your legs, your thighs, your calves. Relaxing the muscles. Feeling at peace. Feeling relaxed. Moving down to your feet, your toes. Feeling relaxed. Feeling good. Now focus on your arms, your hands. Relaxing those. Relaxing. Relaxing. Now I want you to visualize a yellow light engulfing your entire body. It's a very warm light. It feels wonderful. Purge all thoughts. Clear your mind while relaxing. Relaxing. Feeling good engulfed in this light. Listening to the music. Listening to the wildlife. This is serenity. This is oneness with Source. Relaxing. Feeling safe. Feeling good. Feeling at one with all things. Now say to yourself, I am one with all things. Therefore, I have no enemies. For if I am one with all things, I cannot oppose myself. Relaxing. This is a wonderful state. This is a lovely state. The yellow light still engulfs your body. Warm, peaceful yellow light. And now, in your mind's eye, try to see the goddess Auset. See her before you. Make a pledge to her to devote your life to spirituality. Promise her that you will resurrect her soul and service within you. As she leaves, you bid her goodbye. She smiles and takes her leave, feeling at peace, feeling relaxed. And now, let us say our affirmation. But first, recall a negative experience in your life. And as you see it in your mind's eye, say, I am not the type of person who experiences such things. I am not the type of person who experiences such things. I am one with all. Therefore, I have no enemies. For I cannot oppose myself. Now see the scenario unfold in a very positive way. And smile. Now see your other affirmation. I can and will manifest any reality I choose. I can and will manifest any reality I choose. For I am Haru. I am free. Feeling relaxed. Feeling good. Now picture before you the god Haru, Horus. He appears to you as a hawk. Pledge to him that you will exercise your free will to manifest any reality. And as he takes his leave, he flies off to the heavens. He flies into the arms of his mother, Auset, Isis. And you say, thank you, Dwa for their presence. And you ask them to bestow good fortune and good luck into your life. And both Auset and Haru fly off toward the sun. Ra. Feeling peaceful, feeling good. And now, the yellow light engulfing us starts to dissipate. And as it does, we slowly open our eyes, becoming awake, becoming awake. And as we are awake, take your hands and clap them together. Deep breath in, deep breath out. There you go. Feeling good, feeling great. All right. Deep breath in, deep breath out. All right. So that was our mini trance session. I hope all of you that really was good for you. If you are interested in wanting to get a little bit deeper into that, I want you to sign up for my hypnosis session. The link is in the description box. It's something that I do because I love hypnosis and I love reprogramming people's subconscious mind so they can have the reality of their dreams. So they don't have to have a reality where they're living in stress, where they're thinking, how can they pay the bills? Where they're having strife with their boss. Because you are God, man, God, woman, and you could command the universe to bring you that which you deserve, that which you want. Additionally, if you guys are able to, please donate to help me continue these lessons. The donate link is in the chat box. So I want to thank all of the Magi's for tuning in today. Thank you for your comments and the good discussions. This is Kasank Ma Keperu, son of Ma'at and Tahuti. My aunt is a beautiful goddess, Hedaru, Hathor. Until my next broadcast, Amen Ra.